communication or in different places such as Silicon Valley, which I visit, and there are new schools which develop it all. Things that need to be changed. Virtual reality, they work with it when they're 2-3 years old. Let's move on so that we don't go behind schedule. Next, we will have Maria Luisa Martinez Segarra, geolocation for tourism intelligence. First of all, thank you very much so far, which is the tourism intelligence geospatial system or geolocation system.
Bueno, pues fijaros, consiste en generar.
So, it's about having smart destinations where fuel would be the natural resources discussed by the previous speakers. Also, accommodation needs to be smart, structures, and cultural interest or cultural heritage assets, all interconnected. So we talk about accommodation, public services, and so we need to have a catalyst for the change in order to be truly smart. And as we understand it, that would mean having platforms, technologies, and so allowing for sensors, and data to help us finish the circle and have the smart destinations that are digital, safe, and connected. This is the cycle of the journey we have before, during, and after the journey or the travel. In order to make this happen as something connected and smart, websites for which the cultural heritage as though they work. And you see this catalyst for change that is before the trip would allow us to manage the data that we have gathered. If we get new trip, what do we need to know? We need to know in order to improve, we will improve. And the best way to do so, we need to know what the preferred destinations are, the preferred date we define as something new. We can do so with a corporate tool using the standard for smart destinations, and we can choose a series of indicators that would give us that information. So our proposal would be to get to know in order to improve, so that we would get a platform. What's this media? And the website for tourism that also keep an eye on everything that is going on. Twitter was the trendy hashtag for tourism. Also, forums and monitoring of tourists, if we do tools for that, of users. So we have the tools and we make them available. This is the geolocation system, and we can have monitored tourists. We can monitor our tourists using beacons, so several sensors, and so we would know what's the trending topic when it comes to our tourism. Have applications for our smart destinations that would allow them to be smart. And have application is about the conditions there, or else reorient tourism wherever we think it should be. Whether they're using 3 beds, they're using an added bed, or the studies for accommodation, if they look for hostels or whatever. Through that way, it would. This is an example of one of the projects we're working on, where we see the scope of the project data that we want to standardize, all indicators. That way we would improve the destination, which means that we would also improve the quality of life of locals and tourists visiting. And that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Oh, we both have questions. And an app to transfer the data for something else. It looks like an app, but it's actually a process. What we have, so with minimum development, we get a chance to say actually where the methodology is well, you have a user and a password, so we thought of an app, so that visualization, again, thinking of deep learning and predictive models, that because we have similar platforms, and it's all solved, and some other places, some other applications, this. By the way, I really like it. I'm aware of some similar platforms, but what we need to work on is just that. Somehow, we need to have the whole orchestra playing at the same time. That way we have data on smart destinations, because what happens is different instrument out of tune. So we all need to come to an agreement, and so we will have the platform interconnected, and from there onwards we would have it. Yeah, it has to do, well, we need to standardize data and gather it. It's all about semantics. So there is part of it where if we in exchange people cooperate, if tourists get, if the rural hostel gets some discounts, probably sharing, say it's a large one, but just some free ad, it works. So we have two things to do. First, the administration, sure, that just through our last speaker, Giuseppe Iver, from the very same institution, and David Giner and Marco Antonio Central,